3 minutes, that's all the judge had given me. If you're not in my courtroom by 9:00 a.m., Miss Bennett, I'll have no choice but to postpone the custody hearing. I glanced at the dashboard clock. It was 8:17 a.m. My 6-year-old daughter, Lily, sat quietly in the back seat, softly humming to herself as she hugged her stuffed rabbit. She had no idea this wasn't just another drive. If today went well, we would never have to go back to my parents' house again. Before the story continues, I want to ask you something. If you were finally 1 hour away from escaping the people who made your life miserable, would you tell them where you were going, or would you disappear without saying a word? Tell me honestly in the comments. I made a choice. Looking back, it almost got us killed. My name is Sarah Bennett. I was 28 years old, a single mother, a paralegal, and the biggest mistake of my life wasn't trusting my family. It was believing blood made people safe. The hearing wasn't about my ex-husband. He had already signed away his parental rights after disappearing for almost 4 years. The hearing was about something else, guardianship. My parents had secretly filed paperwork claiming I was an unstable mother after I refused to keep living with them. If they won, they could ask the court to appoint them as Lily's legal guardians. Not because they loved her, because they couldn't control me anymore, so they decided to control my daughter instead. For almost 8 months, I collected evidence, bank statements, medical records, school reports, witness letters, every document proving Lily was healthy, loved, and thriving. I kept everything inside a blue accordion folder. That folder was sitting on the passenger seat beside me. It felt heavier than a suitcase full of bricks. The night before the hearing, Mom knocked on my bedroom door. She smiled so sweetly it made me nervous. "Tomorrow's a big day," I nodded. "It is." She stepped inside without being invited. "You know, none of this has to happen," I didn't answer. She sat on the edge of my bed. "If you stay, well, forget everything." I looked at her. "No," she sighed. "You're choosing strangers over family." "I'm choosing peace." Her smile disappeared. "You'll regret that." She walked away. At breakfast the next morning, nobody mentioned court. Dad read the newspaper. Mom made pancakes for Lily. My younger sister Nicole barely looked up from her phone. It was almost normal, too normal. When Lily and I finally left, Mom stood on the porch waving. Dad never came outside. Nicole wasn't anywhere to be seen. I should have known. Nicole never missed a chance to say goodbye if someone was leaving. I buckled Lily into her booster seat, loaded the blue folder beside me, started the engine. Everything sounded normal. The radio, the air conditioner, the engine. Nothing warned me, nothing at all. We drove about 4 miles, then I tapped the brakes approaching a red light. The pedals slammed straight to the floor. Nothing happened. The car didn't slow down. My heartbeat exploded. I pumped the brake again. Nothing. The light turned red. Cars crossed the intersection. I yanked the steering wheel into an empty construction entrance. The tires bounced over gravel. The car scraped against a chain link fence before finally stopping in a pile of dirt. Silence, complete silence, then a tiny voice from the back seat. "Mommy, why are you crying?" I hadn't realized I was. I climbed out on shaking legs, looked underneath the car. Dark brake fluid covered the ground. Someone hadn't forgotten to fix my brakes. Someone had made sure they wouldn't work. At that exact moment, my phone vibrated. One new text message. "Nicole, only 6 words. Should have checked your brakes first." I stopped breathing. Then another message appeared, this one from Mom. "You'll never leave us alive." I read it 3 times, hoping I'd misunderstood. I hadn't. Before I could even think, a pickup truck pulled into the construction entrance behind us. Not fast, not aggressively. It simply stopped about 20 feet away. A man stepped out wearing muddy work boots and an orange highway vest. He looked at my damaged car, then at Lily, then at the brake fluid running across the gravel. His expression changed instantly. He didn't ask if I needed a tow truck. He quietly asked, "Who cut your brake line?" The man never waited for my answer. He dropped to one knee beside the front tire, reached underneath the car, then slowly pulled his hand back. His fingertips were covered in brake fluid. He looked straight at me. "This wasn't an accident." My hands started shaking. "You can tell," he nodded. "I've repaired heavy equipment for 26 years. He pointed beneath the engine. The brake hose didn't burst, it was sliced. My stomach dropped. Someone hadn't hoped I'd crash. Someone had planned it. Lily quietly climbed out of the back seat holding her stuffed rabbit. "Mommy, are we still going to see the judge?" I forced myself to smile. "We're trying, sweetheart." The man introduced himself. "My name's Caleb." He pulled out his phone. "I'm calling Highway Patrol." I grabbed his arm. "No," he looked surprised. "If I wait here, I'll miss the hearing. If I miss the hearing, my parents win." Caleb stared at me. What hearing? I told him everything, not every detail, just enough. The guardianship petition, the court, the threatening texts, the brake failure. When I finished, he looked toward Lily, then back at me. They tried to stop you. I nodded. They almost succeeded. For a few seconds, he stood there thinking, then he snapped his fingers. My truck. What? It's got a trailer. I was delivering equipment to the courthouse renovation. I frowned. So. You're already heading there? Before I could say anything else, my phone rang. The courthouse. I answered immediately. Ms. Bennett, the courtroom clerk said, sounding anxious. The judge has started calling cases. I'm on my way. How long? I looked at Caleb. He glanced at the dashboard clock. 22 minutes. I repeated it. The clerk sighed. I'll let the judge know, but please don't be late. The call ended. I looked at Caleb. You don't even know me. He smiled. My mother taught me to stop whenever someone was stranded on the side of the road. Then he looked at Lily. I'd like to believe she'd do the same if my granddaughter were sitting in that back seat. We moved quickly. He secured my damaged car to the trailer, helped Lily into the truck, and we headed toward the courthouse. Halfway there, my phone buzzed again. Nicole, a photo. My bedroom was completely empty. The caption read, "You won't need these anymore." Another photo arrived. Every box I'd packed for my new apartment was dumped across the front lawn. Clothes, books, Lily's toys, baby pictures, everything scattered across the wet grass. Lily leaned forward. Mommy, why is Aunt Nicole throwing Teddy on the ground? I quickly turned the phone over so she couldn't see it. Caleb glanced at me. They know you're still alive. I nodded. They're getting desperate. He didn't say another word. He simply pressed harder on the accelerator. For several miles, no one spoke. Then Lily quietly asked, Mommy, if Grandma wins today, do I have to live with her? The truck suddenly felt too small. I reached back and held her little hand. No. I promise, but deep inside I wasn't sure. The courthouse came into view, 8:56 a.m. 4 minutes. Caleb pulled into the parking lot. Before the truck even stopped, I saw them. Mom, Dad, Nicole. Standing on the courthouse steps, they weren't surprised to see me. They looked disappointed. Mom smiled slowly, whispered something to Nicole, and Nicole laughed. Before I could help Lily out of the truck, Dad walked straight toward us. Not angry, calm, too calm. He stopped beside my window, looked at Caleb, then at me. You made one mistake, Sarah. I stared at him. You brought a witness. He smiled. But we brought 3. I looked toward the courthouse entrance. 3 people I'd never seen before were already walking inside beside my mother. Each carried a folder. Every one of them was about to testify that I was an unfit mother. What would you do if you were me? Would you still walk into that courtroom or turn around and disappear forever? Think about it. I had less than 3 minutes to decide. The choice I made changed every life in that courtroom. I didn't answer my father's threat. I opened the truck door, picked up Lily, tucked the blue folder under my arm, and walked toward the courthouse. Every step felt heavier than the last. Behind me, Caleb called out, Sarah. I turned. If they lie, don't interrupt them. Just tell the truth. Truth lasts longer than panic. I nodded. I wasn't sure I believed him, but I needed something to hold on to. Inside, the courthouse hallway buzzed with people waiting for their hearings. Lawyers hurried by, children colored quietly, clerks carried stacks of files. To everyone else, it was just another ordinary Tuesday. To me, it felt like the day my life would either begin or end. A bailiff opened the courtroom door. Case number 24,118. Sarah Bennett. My legs almost refused to move. Lily squeezed my hand. It's okay, Mommy. Funny how children sometimes become the brave ones. We walked inside. My parents were already seated. Nicole smiled when she saw me, not a happy smile, a smile that said, we almost got you. 3 strangers sat beside them, a middle-aged woman, a man in a business suit. A younger woman holding a notebook. I'd never seen any of them before. The judge entered. Everyone stood. After the formalities, my mother's attorney rose. Your Honor, we have 3 independent witnesses prepared to testify about Miss Bennett's unstable behavior. The first woman took the witness stand. She pointed at me. I've personally seen her screaming at her daughter. I frowned. I'd never met her. The second man claimed he'd seen me leave Lily alone in a car. Another lie. The third woman said I drank heavily while caring for my daughter. I didn't even drink alcohol. As each lie piled up, I could feel the judge watching me, not believing them, not believing me. Simply observing, waiting. Then it was my turn. I stood. My attorney whispered, stay calm. I walked to the witness stand. Before I could speak, the judge leaned forward. Ms. Bennett, you arrived late today. Is there a reason? The courtroom fell silent. This was the moment I could either give a simple answer or tell the whole truth. Before I tell you what I said, let me ask you something. If someone tried to kill you on the way to court, would you spend your first minute proving they lied or explaining why you were late? What would you have done? I looked at the judge and reached into my purse. My reason is outside. The judge looked confused. What do you mean, my car? The attorney immediately objected. Irrelevant, I calmly replied. It became relevant the moment someone cut my brake line this morning. The courtroom erupted in whispers. My mother looked at Nicole. Nicole looked down at the floor. The judge raised his hand. Silence. I handed my phone to the bailiff. There are text messages. He passed it to the judge. The judge read the first one. Should have checked your brakes first, then the second. You'll never leave us alive. The room fell completely silent. The judge slowly removed his glasses and looked at my mother. Did you send these messages? Mom swallowed hard. It was just a joke. No one laughed. Then the courtroom doors opened and everyone turned. Caleb walked in wearing his orange work vest. The bailiff frowned. Sir, this hearing is in progress. I know, Caleb replied. The officer outside asked me to deliver this immediately. He held up a sealed evidence bag containing a section of my brake line, cleanly cut. The judge frowned. What is that? A highway patrol officer stepped forward. Your Honor, we inspected the vehicle. Our preliminary examination shows the brake line was intentionally cut with a sharp tool. Silence filled the courtroom. We also recovered fingerprints, the officer continued. Nicole's face went pale. He added, security footage from a convenience store across the street shows someone underneath Ms. Bennett's car at 5:42 this morning. Can you identify the person? The judge asked. Yes, the officer replied, turning toward my sister. It was Ms. Nicole Bennett. Nicole stood up. I didn't mean, she stopped, but it was too late. The officer placed another evidence bag on the table. We also recovered a utility knife with fresh brake fluid on the blade. Nicole burst into tears. I only wanted to scare her. The judge looked at her. You cut your sister's brake line while her child was inside that vehicle. I didn't think she'd drive that morning, Nicole whispered. Then the judge turned to my mother. Mrs. Bennett, you sent the message, you'll never leave us alive. It was frustration, not a threat, Mom replied. Instead of answering, the judge looked at Lily. Sweetheart, where do you feel safest? With Mommy, she answered. And at Grandma's house, I have to be really, really quiet. Why? Because Grandma says children should be seen and not heard. And I don't like when Uncle Ryan yells. No one asked another question. After a long pause, the judge spoke. The petition for guardianship is denied. The evidence shows a disturbing pattern of intimidation toward Ms. Bennett. He looked at me. Ms. Bennett, you and your daughter are free to live wherever you choose. He then ordered today's evidence to be forwarded for further investigation. My father tried to speak. We're still her family, the judge calmly replied. Family is not a license to destroy someone's life. Outside the courthouse, the rain had stopped. Caleb smiled as Lily skipped toward him. Looks like you made it. We did, I said. I looked one last time at my damaged car. The cut brake line was still visible. I realized that broken car hadn't ruined our future, it had saved our lives. 2 months later, Lily and I moved into a small townhouse 3 counties away. It wasn't fancy, but it was ours. On the first night, Lily smiled and asked, Mommy, nobody knows where we live. No, I said. Can we stay here forever, as long as you want? That night, I locked the door and felt something I hadn't felt in years, peace. People often ask if I hate my family. I don't. I spend my life protecting the little girl who trusted me to get her out. The morning my sister cut my brake line, she thought she was stopping me from leaving. Instead, she proved why leaving was the only choice I had left. And every time Lily laughs in our little kitchen, I'm reminded that escaping wasn't the end of our story. It was finally the beginning.